There's a statement in certain spiritual teachings that the entirety of the physical universe is really inside of us. And I'm looking at the Abraham teachings that I'm a part of Source, and if the physical stuff around me is really an extension of Source, really a part of that, is that, in a sense, really the same thing? In other words, instead of seeing things from my human perspective, I see them as outside of myself. But I could grasp another perspective from a Source perspective that's all-encompassing of everything inside of myself.
Well, the thing that we would like to add to that, in other words, we're not in disagreement that what you experience is your translation of vibration, and that's the way we would put that. But there's something that you said that we would like to tweak into a little firmer understanding, and that is
Please.
That there is the case to be made that source energy stands apart from what you've got going on physically and understands it and perceives it and has interest in it and has an ability to see it. There's a case to be made for that, because Source is all-knowing, all-seeing. And there's a case to be made that as physical beings, you can get so wrapped up in your physical world that you might lose altogether your awareness that there is anything outside of you. In other words, you're brilliant, but as brilliant as you are, you haven't figured out how to scrape enough dirt together to launch it into orbit and make another planet. So your logic tells you that there is something more, but it is conceivable that you could be so well grounded in your physicalness that you could be a physical person seeing a physical world, and you could convince yourself that that's as far as it goes. But what we would like you to understand is that this source energy that certainly could see the world apart from all of you never ever does. That this source energy is so integrated in every particle of that which is you that Source views the world through that which is you and expands the universe through that which is you. Which means that the expanding universe is happening through the process of this magnificent time-space reality, which makes it infinitely more meaningful. And anyone who leaves that part of it out is missing so much, you see. When you feel love, like our friend feels for his new lover, when he feels that love and she feels that love, what each of them is feeling is the Source within them's true understanding of what's going on. In other words, when you feel love, what you're feeling is your connection to that broader perspective who is love. When you feel knowing, when you feel secure, what you've really done is accomplished alignment with that Source energy. So, what were the words that you started with? The words that you were quoting?
That the entirety of the physical universe is inside of me.
The entirety of the physical universe is inside of me. We would say instead, I cannot now or ever separate myself from the Source who has expanded as a result of the physicality that I am living. Let's start in another place. It's not possible for me to stand in my physical beingness and not have the wholeness that is Source pulsing through every particle that is me. It's possible to be physical and not know that, but it's not possible to be physical and not be that. So what we're really talking about here is the conscious awareness of the vibrational connection between what you call Source and what you call the physical you. And what we've done in our conversations to lead you to a fullness of understanding it the way Source sees it, we've broken your world into unusual perspectives. and explained it to you in a way that you usually don't look at it. For example, we say to you, you were source energy before you came into this physical body. Most people say, okay, I get that. And we say, and you will be source energy again. But what we want you to know is that while you are in this physical body, you are a representative of source energy. It's not dead or alive, non-physical or physical. It's always source, and sometimes it's physical.
I get the idea that the source within me is always just absolutely tickled pink that I'm here in life. Whether if I'm doing great, the source within me is tickled pink. And if I'm suffering or feeling down, the source within me is still tickled pink that I'm
That's
here
exactly
exploring
right.
stuff.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly right. And when you come into the feeling of love, what you've discovered is how source feels. In other words, those feelings of love that you claim for yourself is really your vibrational attunement with the larger part of who you are. So what we've added to the conversation in the years that you've been playing with us in this format is that you were source energy, but you still are source energy. And that while you're here exploring, you are in your physical format, because of your physical format, adding to the expansion of the universe. And the expansion happens vibrationally, but you have access to the feeling of the vibration. And if you believe that and will feel for it, now you've made the conscious connection. You've come full circle. You are fulfilling all that you are. So you're not just source energy reaching for more. You're source energy becoming more and knowing and being involved in the becoming of it. Every idea, every step along the way, you see. And no creator is ever as excited about creating as when he is a deliberate creator. You could be born on this planet as everyone is. You could walk around observing, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, and contributing mightily to your vortex and not even know you're doing it, as almost everybody is doing. You could stumble into things that feel good and stumble into things that feel bad, and you could croak. And in the croaking experience, you will reemerge into your vortex, and you will feel then the fulfillment and the exhilaration of the accomplishment of everything that this life helped you carve out for yourself. And that's the way most people will live their lives. And then there are those like you who will come into conscious awareness that you are source extended into the physical, who will feel the exhilaration of desires being born, so much so that the knowing what you don't want is exhilarating, not negative, because you know that the big payoff is it's putting something in the vortex. And then you can consciously and deliberately move in the direction of the vortex, getting better and better at it, reveling in your ability to focus yourself into alignment. And you can reap the benefit and the reward not only of the manifestation of the vortex every step along the way, so that you get manifestation of what's in there. When you croak, you get it, but you don't get the manifestation of it. In other words, you get the feeling of it, you get the knowing of it, you get the completion of it, but you came into physical form to manifest your ability to create. And that's what your first question was about. Right. What's the difference between the non-physical source energy and what's physical? And we say what's physical is tangible. It's feeling, it's visceral, it's realer, it's reality, it's physical, it's denser, it's the stuff you came to revel in. It's more specific.
Wow. Thank you so much. Great love here for you.
What is the time?
We've done 57 minutes.
So there is nothing that's left undone, yes? You're knowing who you are, yes?